So now more than ever, the Democrats need strong voices, progressives, who are willing to fight for the causes they believe in, who aren't afraid to land a political punch. Look out, Republicans. He's back.
The Republicans' health care plan for America, don't get sick. That's right, don't get sick. If you have insurance, don't get sick. If you don't have insurance, don't get sick. If you're sick, don't get sick. Just don't get sick. Let's give 3 million Americans a working wage, an honest day's pay for an honest day's work. They'll spend it on the things they need to do to stay alive, instead of the alternative, the Republican-favored alternative, which is to have them lose their job, keep unemployed, and move into their cars. If Barack Obama were somehow able to cure hunger in the world, the Republicans would blame him for overpopulation. They understand that if Barack Obama has a BLT sandwich tomorrow for lunch, they will try to ban bacon.
Joining me now is the man himself, Congressman Alan Grayson, Democrat from Florida. He was reelected this past year and was sworn in today as a part of the 113th Congress. Congressman Grayson, congratulations, and thanks for being here.
Thank you. As Steven Tyler would say, I'm back in the saddle again.
I imagine the Republicans didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for you today.
No, that's okay. I think we're going to have to find some way to get along with each other, I guess, but time will tell.
Now, talking about getting along, they've already said they're willing to hold the debt ceiling hostage. That's quite a reversal from a few years ago. Listen to this.
Will the debt ceiling be raised, or does it have to be raised? Yes, you can't not raise the debt ceiling. Default is the unworkable solution. Obviously, you can't default.
Well, let me tell you what's involved if we don't lift the debt ceiling, financial collapse and calamity throughout the world. That's not lost upon me.
That would be a financial disaster, not only for our country, but for the worldwide economy.
So defaulting on the full faith and credit is unacceptable to you?
I don't think it's a question that's even on the table.
So, were they kidding then, or are they kidding now? Why the big change, Congressman, and how do we deal with it?
Well, they changed because they see it's a device for them to extract concessions they would never otherwise be able to accomplish. That's why it's legislative terrorism. They're using the debt ceiling as a means to cut Social Security benefits, cut Medicare benefits, cut unemployment insurance, cut anything of any use to any ordinary human being in this country, simply because they want more money for tax cuts for the rich.
Legislative terrorism, holding the economy hostage, I would take from that. Mr. Boehner, the Speaker, reportedly told the GOP that he's done negotiating one-on-one with President Obama. What do you make of that?
Well, look, Boehner is a chief with no Indians. We saw it again today. When he reached the end of the roll call, he didn't have enough votes to be Speaker. You needed 218 votes to be Speaker. When all he had already voted, he was at 216. Then they had to drag Bachmann and have her vote. He ended up voting for himself, which he didn't do the first time around. And then he managed to eke out a 2-vote victory in a House where he has 18 extra votes now. And that shows how weak he is. He's a weak man, a weak Speaker. And therefore, he can't negotiate with the President, because the President actually can make commitments, make decisions. He can say, when you send me a bill, I'll sign it. What can Boehner say? Nothing.
So you led the charge against the GOP tax cuts in 2010. Let me play for people what you did.
Every single year for the next 10 years, the Republican tax plan is to give millionaires enough money for a Mercedes-Benz. They can buy a bottle of wine from 1787 every year for the next decade. Thank you, Republican Party. Here's something else they can do. They can buy 20,000 jars of their favorite mustard, Grey Poupon. Here's an idea. Let's take that $100 billion and give 3 million Americans a job.
Now, that was you fighting in 2010 against tax cuts for the rich. Now that they've made some concessions on taxes, Do you think that they'll be easier to negotiate with on revenue?
No, and frankly, let me use a term that you may have heard once or twice in New York. I'm tired of their mishegas. They keep nattering over and over again about debt deficit, 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 debt, deficit, deficit, deficit. But when it comes to actually doing something about it, meaning taxing people who actually have money they can pay to the government, somehow that's beyond the pale. They want to tax the poor who have no money instead of taxing the rich who have all the money. It doesn't make any sense, and I think people are starting to see through it.
Mishugash. Didn't make my side of Brooklyn, but I'll use it. Congressman Alan Grayson, thanks for your time tonight and good luck.
Thank you very much, Reverend.